Hey everyone, Piano Man Chuck here. Today I have with me again the Kawai MP11, and I want to talk about a couple of cool things about this. Things that people don't usually use a keyboard for. Now, this thing has line inputs. A lot of keyboards don't have that, and some that do don't actually have a separate volume control that's built in for that. Now, why is this important? Because, first of all, right now, the way I'm making this video, I usually have the keyboard being recorded on one stereo track and the mic being recorded on another track. This time, I'm not doing that. You're hearing me through the keyboard because this mic is being run through a effects processor. You can run it through a DI box, but you need something to bring the microphone level over to line level because this takes line level inputs, which is a much stronger signal than what a microphone puts out. So you need something to boost it. Whether it's a DI box or an effects processor, the effect is going to be the same. You've got something that boosts that mic so that you can plug it into the line level. All right, cool. But if you're using something like an effects processor, while you're using the microphone, you can do things like add reverb to it. And if you need more effects, you can do things like multiple voices. And so you're talking with, it's actually meant for singing, for harmony. All right, so back to normal. This is all being done so while you're playing your piano, you can be singing and have everything plugged into this line input so that when you're performing, your amp just needs to be hooked up to the line outs, and that can be hooked up to the front of house if you're doing a performance. So while you're doing that, the very cool thing about that is you take a USB stick or USB thumb drive, whatever you want to call these things, and just hook it into the USB input over here. And while you're doing that, while you're playing the piano, while you are singing and talking, you can record everything right onto that USB thumb drive. You don't need to bring a separate recorder. You don't need a computer with a DAW or anything like that. This is a self contained unit. And what's even more cool is if you're using this in the studio and you're playing and you're singing, whatever, you can actually add even more things. It's not a multi-track recorder, but you can use it as though it were a multi-track recorder because of its overdub features. And I'm going to get into that in another video because that is a really cool feature. But for right now, I'm going to stick with these line inputs, the microphone, and that kind of thing. Now, I want to talk about the USB port here because there's a couple of accessories that you can plug into a USB port. One of them is a fan. So if I were to plug this USB fan into the USB port, now I got a fan going. And what's cool about that is while I'm performing live, I can aim this at my face and I'm cooling off. Because when you're on a stage, it is hot. And this will take care of that. So that's really cool. All right. The other thing is a USB light. So you can see that light right there. While you're playing, in a lot of these venues, it's really dark. You can aim this wherever. If you have sheet music or something, you can illuminate it, so no problem there. Now, here's the deal. These are two separate USB accessory devices. You only have one USB port. So, if you take something like a multi-port adapter, you plug this into the USB and it gives you four separate USB ports out of that. Okay, so now, let's see. I've got my light. I've got my fan. So I've got my light and my fan at the same time. When you're using a USB stick or thumb drive, that has to be the only thing you're using, and it has to be directly connected to the keyboard. If you want to use accessories like a fan or a light, you can hook that up to a port, but you give up the capability of using a USB thumb drive. So again, these cool things like that line input and being able to sing at the same time and record your performance. And actually, if you're in band practice and you're doing rehearsals, everybody's going through a mixer, and as long as the levels are mixed right, you can take the output, the final output, the left and right from that mixer. So you've got guitar and everybody with a microphone, and if the drums are mic'd correctly and everything, you can take those two tracks and route that into the line inputs here. And while you're playing, it's also recording everything that's coming out of that mixer. So basically, you don't need to have a separate recorder or DAW or sequencer or whatever. So that's a cool thing. And again, like I said, the audio recorder, even though this is a very simple interface, it gets pretty deep. And I'm very impressed with what it can do. So much so that I'm going to most likely do another video that's about the recorder section alone because it's pretty powerful. Anyway, Piano Man Chuck, peace out. Thanks for watching.